Welcome to the Conversation Arena. It's the Festival of Dreams. We're live on location today, and Alana Fairchild joins us live on the set. How are you, Alana?
I'm great, Ben. How are you?
Now, we just had a little meditation up there on stage. Where do you go when all that happens? And your background is very, very interesting. You're a teacher and you're into the whole thing of music. So tell us a little bit about the journey that you've been on and where it's led you to.
Ben, it was a little bit of a strange journey. I actually started out in law and did a law degree.
Really?
My grandmother was a little bit worried for a while when I said I'm not going to be a barrister after all, I'm going to be a spiritual teacher. She said okay, it took her a while. For me it was much more about connecting with the heart and doing something that I really loved. So when I'm on stage with people, it's really quite an emotional journey for me as well.
Yes.
I love connecting with people.
And do you feel people's energy on stage, and can you feel them going through certain situations during the whole meditative process?
Yes, it's a great question. It is very living and very spontaneous, and I do sense the energy of the group, sometimes individuals as well. Occasionally, if I'm doing more of a speaking workshop, I'll get messages for people as well, which I pass on during the course of the talk.
Wow. So what is it about this world that you love so much? Because a lot of people would find it very hard to understand. And you said about law, you're going into that type of career and then you end up in this industry. You know, in terms of an industry, you must have seen many, many changes over the years, because traditionally people might say, oh, it's very hippie, but I don't think it is like that now.
It's becoming much more mainstream. I think people are open to the idea it's not quite as weird as they thought it once might be. It's really more about connecting with your heart and what has meaning for you, and not being afraid to go against the grain, maybe being a little bit of a rebel sometimes and thinking for yourself and choosing what really works for you, even if maybe your family or your parents or your culture doesn't always get it. It's okay to be a bit of a black sheep or a rainbow sheep or whatever. Yeah.
And walking around the festival here today, that you can feel that there is a definite energy in here today, and a lot of things happening all around us. But for yourself, what is the journey that you're on, and what is the message that you're hoping to get across to people?
It's always pretty similar, I have to say, whether I'm in a private session or doing a talk, and it's really about trusting yourself, about believing that you're meant to blossom and be your own unique flower or plant. You don't have to be the same as everyone else, you just need to do what's actually right and honest and truthful for you. And for me, being in an energy like this, where people are open and they're curious and they're looking, it's fantastic.
Do you think people know in their heart of hearts if they're not living their truth?
Yeah, I think sometimes even if you think you're not sure, the body or your mind will show you. You don't feel happy, maybe you get depression or you struggle with addictions, or you just have the thought that if you go through that office door one more time, you're actually going to scream your head off. Those are all signs that maybe something could change.
So your final message for people today, that living their truth sometimes means taking a different road, and the road less travelled sometimes can be the most rewarding, and you can learn the most about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And just to know too that when you do take a risk from the heart, I absolutely believe, and I've had this experience and seen it with others, the universe does support you, sometimes in the most unimaginable ways, but really we're very nurtured into becoming what we are. I think we struggle when we do what we feel we should or what we're supposed to, rather than just being authentic and in the heart.
Now, in your meditation, you were just talking about planting the seed in your heart and then watching the roots, or imagining the roots going down through your feet into the earth. Do you think by visualization and that type of thought process, people can achieve what it is that they're meant to achieve?
Visualisation definitely helps, and we certainly live in a culture where it's very visually and mentally oriented, but I always love to add feeling. That's why I use music so much. So if you can combine the visual with feeling what it would feel like to have your dreams manifest, that joy, that connection, that's the real kicker. That's the fertiliser to bring stuff to life, the feeling.
Now, dreams are important, and we all have them, but we don't sometimes pay enough attention to them. What should we do if we're just thinking about all this at the moment? Should we be writing down what we're thinking in nighttime dreams?
What a great question.
Yeah.
Definitely create a little bit of space for yourself. I used to, before I started doing this work full time, I used to set a spiritual date for myself once a week, and I just go and spend some time in nature, write in a journal, think about what really had meaning for me. I think sometimes we get so caught up in day-to-day life and just trying to keep up with everything. The thought of setting aside time to reflect and contemplate just seems ridiculous and impossible. So don't make it too ambitious. It's not like, you know, unless you really feel impelled, you don't have to leave your job job and quit everything and move to Tibet and meditate. I mean, if you want to do that, great, you know, but it can be something so small, like just taking some time aside for half an hour once a week to sit in some space and some quiet and just connect. What do I feel, you know, what's really going on for me? That can be enough to really get the ball rolling, and the universe will meet us more than halfway and help.
So paying attention to your thoughts and your feelings, but also your gut instinct, that's important?
Yeah, gut instinct for me is a form of bodily intuition. So I think sometimes we really know when something's not quite right for us. A lot of us get taught we're supposed to ignore that and just keep going, you know, soldier on and whatever, but really it's safe to trust it, but it's like learning a new way to be. We need to create the habit, and if you have a little bit of space where you can hear yourself think and you're not bombarded with demands from different people around you, as well-meaning as they might be, it's going to make it a lot easier to really feel those instincts and act on them when you're ready.
Now, when you're doing your CDs and you sell them on to people, in a way it's a sort of gift with purchase because you've put the best intention into it, and then you must get some fabulous stories back from people months, years later about experiences that they've had from listening to your music and singing.
Yeah, I love that gift with purchase, that's gorgeous. I do, I hear the most amazing things, and actually someone emailed me from America not that long ago about the Isis Oracle, which is a card deck I wrote, and she said that it helped overcome her fear of the dentist, which was the most novel response I'd ever got from anyone, which I loved, because the divine, you know, it's not a religious thing, it's just a life thing, and it will help us in many different ways. There are no limits, really.
So do you feel you were called to do this?
Definitely, yeah. I used to write exceptionally long essays in art class about looking at artworks and then writing what I felt about them, and I realised the other day it's the same thing I'm doing now as a grown-up with oracle decks. I look at a piece of art and then get inspired and write a message. Definitely trained for it.
It is trained. Well, look, thank you very much for joining us on the Conversation Arena. Some great insights there to your world. And where can people get in contact with you?
The easiest way is probably by the website. It's alanafairchild.com.
Thanks very much, Alana Fairchild, joining us live on the set here at the Conversation Arena on the Festival of Dreams.